Hola, hola, how are you? I'm Vanessa if you don't know me, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about depression. More specifically, how I got depression here in Australia. Now, before I start talking about this, I just need to say that my mom told me that I talk too much because of my previous videos are about like 20 minutes long. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get as much detail as I can, but it seems like that's not good. So I'm gonna try to make this video a little bit less long. I'm going to make it shorter, so hopefully that's going to be better. I really wanted to talk about this topic just because it's something that it doesn't only happen to like me, but it's something that happens to probably every single person that migrates to another country. I mean, I would say maybe not all of them, but I think the majority probably. So depression. I never consider myself as a depressed person. I never thought that I was ever gonna become depressed at some point in my life. I think that moving to Australia is just like too many factors that it was almost unavoidable, unavoidable. Like it was impossible to like don't get depressed at least at some point. So what happened is I considered myself a really independent, strong woman. I feel and I think that I'm really capable of handling like stressful situations really well, and I don't really like care too much about like others people's opinions. Why I say this? Because when I was younger, I used to get bullied a lot, and you know, a lot of people can get some kind of depression on like or any kind of mental health issues because of that. But I feel that I was so strong mentally that that really didn't affect me. Like, yes, it was sad, but it never really like, you know, made me feel like I felt here. Now, just because I get some comments sometimes about like, oh, you're being such a drama queen, like you're so dramatic. Yeah, probably my life is not as hard as others people's life, but that doesn't mean that it's just a easy life anyway, and that my feelings doesn't matter. And the funny part is that all these comments about people complaining about why I felt in a way in any specific moment, or why I didn't like something like here in Australia, they're usually just probably like Australians or like people that has the privilege that they don't know they have. Because if you are born in a country like Australia, you are really privileged compared to someone that is from Colombia, but you don't understand that because you have been living here your whole life. So for you, the little single things that for me is like what is going on, for you is like you're being such a drama. Sorry, but not sorry. Like my experience as an immigrant, it's really different than any person that has been born here. Anyway, so my depression technically started just because life was hard, but hard in a way that I didn't have a support. I didn't have my family because I moved to Australia by myself alone. So no family, no friends. And so every time that something happened to me, even if it was the little single thing that maybe in a normal life perspective, it wouldn't be really that hard. When I arrived home after that, I didn't have anyone to talk about it. And sometimes just talking to my mom after a hard day was just enough for me to feel like good again. But in this case, I was arriving home and there was no one to talk to. I think that one of the main reasons that made me feel really depressed, it was probably not having my support team with me, which means probably my family, mainly like my mom, my dad, and my sister. Of course, my friends, because I didn't had anyone to go out, you know? Like, I'm here in Australia, in Brisbane, in a new country, when there's so many amazing things to do, and like, but you don't have anyone to go to. And yes, you can go alone. I went alone to a lot of things, but it's, you know, the company of someone else makes the experience a little bit better. Well, obviously, that is just like the mix of everything. I was working a lot because I needed the money. So it's just like there was no time for myself. All the things that I used to do in my country, I was not able to do it here because I was so busy working and studying. And then when I finally have a little bit of free time, there was not like my energy was so low that I just wanted to be in bed like the whole day. And when that started to happening, like, then my only comfort was to be in bed the whole day. Then is when I realized that this is something wrong going on. Like, this is not myself. Like, I'm not the super active, proactive person, but I like to be active. I like to move my body around. If you have seen my channel, I like to dance. I like music. So, you know, I'm trying to be active as much as I can. But in that moment, like, my body and my head, my mind, it was just like so burnt out. Like, to the limit that I literally, like, I just wake up because I needed to wake up, because I needed to go to work, because I needed to go to school. And then I arrived at home again late at night. Sometimes I was feeling so bad that I needed to call my mom and I talked to her. And like, she will see me cry and like be so upset about life. And you know, you see me now, like, I'm talking about this like it was fun, but it was not fun. And now that I'm thinking about it, it makes me feel a little bit emotional because it was a really hard time in my life. And not only me, like feeling that way, but also not being able to hide it to my mom. But it was impossible for me to hide it, because if I didn't let it go, then it was going to be worse. But seeing my mom get upset as well because of how I was so unhappy and like tired and like just not enjoying my life in Australia, it just makes everything like bad as well. Because obviously your mom is far away from you, she wants to see you happy, but every time you call her, you are just crying. And yeah, you can say complaining, but it's like sometimes life is not that easy. And when you're alone, like, you're talking to your mom through the phone, but you cannot have a hug, you cannot smell her, you cannot touch her. Like, it's a completely different type of loneliness. So even if I was feeling like that, I knew that I needed to change. I couldn't stay like that because I didn't want to go to school anymore. I didn't want to work anymore. But if I don't do that, then I'm done. Like, you know, the whole purpose of me being here is to be able to work and study, and like, you know. So that was not the life that I was expecting to have here in Australia. So I decided just to make a big change in my life. I started from one of the main reasons of my depression, which was my jobs. I didn't like the jobs that I was doing just because, I don't know, I already talked about my jobs in my previous video. If you want to watch it, that one is a little bit long. And a lot of people complain about how I'm complaining so much. But until you don't live that, you don't realize how hard it could be. But anyway, I changed my jobs. I changed it to something that I was expecting to be good and different and a little bit more happy for me. And it was. It was the best decision ever, because in that job I met amazing people. I improved my English a lot, and I was just a little bit more like socially active, which it helped me a lot to feel a little bit better. Unfortunately, at the beginning of like 3 months after I started my new job, my grandmother died. And it was hard because, I mean, for me, I almost kind of didn't feel it, and maybe it's because I was here and I was not there. So it's like, yeah, they tell you like, oh, your grandmother passed away, um, but like your brain kind of like don't process it correctly because like you're not there to feel it like for real. It was, I mean, despite of that, even if I didn't feel it in like deeply level, I still feel sad. And also not being in Colombia with my mom, to be there for her, to like, you know, like, just be with her and my uncles and aunties. It's just like, you know, it's something that you're missing out. And I think that's one of the bad things that you have to live with when you're moving to another country and it's so far away from your country. After changing those parts of my life that it was making me miserable, it makes me feel a little bit better. I definitely felt that I was making a good change. And then I've met just amazing people that also makes me feel not alone anymore. And that's amazing because when you move to another country, yes, you can make friends, but it's not gonna be close friends. You know, like the friends I have in my country, they are friends like from years, like since school. So we know each other for a long time and we have made already a deep connection between us. There is something hard to find in new friends just here, especially when you're an adult. Like it's harder to make friends, and actually for me it has been really hard to find friends, and it's something that the things I don't like because I am really private with my life. I'm not loud. I'm not like, you know, I don't like to share all my life in just 1 second, and it seems like a lot of people like to do that here. They like to be really talkative, and it's something that I don't really like. So maybe that's why I'm not getting much friends, but it's okay. I enjoy my life now. I always have my up and downs, but the feeling that I had in that moment, in that period of time, it has never happened again. And I'm so glad about it because I don't want to feel that never again in my life, because it's just a feeling that you're alive but not really. Like your body is moving because it has to, not because you really, you know, want to get up and do stuff. Anyway, I think the video has been long enough already. I will try to cut some parts, so maybe it's going to be less long. But I hope you like this video. You can share your experiences as well in the comments, and you can tell me what other things would you like me to talk about. There's so many things that I would like to talk about, not only about Australia, but like just in general about a lot of things, because I'm a person that likes to keep informed about everything that is happening in the world. And I like to talk and I like to give my opinion, even if it's controversial. Yeah, that's everything for this video. I hope you like it. Please give a like, subscribe, and comment. That will be amazing. And I'll see you in my next video sometime soon. Bye bye.